Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Fudge Muppet. It's Michael here, and today we're going to do a build that's been requested for a very long time, the Forsworn. The Forsworn was born in the 173rd year of the 4th era to Forsworn parents who lived in the Reach. She lived among many Forsworn members, including her grandma, whom she was closest to. Precisely 1 year after her birth, her family moved to Markarth, which had recently been claimed by the Reachmen as an independent kingdom. She lived here in relative harmony until the 176th year of the 4th era, in which the Markarth incident occurred. This incident involved Ulfric Stormcloak, Jarl of Windhelm, taking a group of Nord militia to retake the Reach. The Nords invaded Markarth, slaughtering many Forsworn in battle and sending others fleeing into the cliffy lands outside the city. Amongst the fleeing, the 3-year-old girl left with her grandma and hurried out of the city, hearing the victorious cries of the Nord attackers in the not-so-far distance. The assumed demise of her parents spurred her grandmother to actually take her south. They left the rest of the Forsworn survivors and trekked their way to Cyrodiil. They would be safe here and not persecuted for their identity. The Forsworn girl lived in the homeland of the Imperials for the next 24 years within the city of Chorrol. At the age of 27, the Forsworn had been trained by her grandma in the basics of using a bow while sneaking in the wilderness, how to cast basic frost magic, and also how to sort of swing a blade. She kept her Forsworn identity a secret from the citizens of the city, and to them she was considered a bit of a bookworm. She had lived most of her life learning all about Forsworn history and achievements, as well as stories about her parents' extended family and their culture. That said, she could never really remember the first 3 years of her life, and in many ways she was quite a Cyrodiilic girl. She was as civilized as anyone else, however she longed to reconnect with her people. She studied Forsworn history intensely and spent plenty of her days talking to her grandma. As happens with old age, unfortunately, it comes to the time of one's passing. Her grandma died, leaving the Forsworn girl a message. She wished for her to return to the Reach and truly become one with her people. Following the events of her grandma's death, the Forsworn headed to Skyrim, but was caught at the border and carted to Helgen. She does of course escape during the attack of Alduin, and then decides to visit the Forsworn in the Reach. Sadly, after arriving, the Forsworn girl is attacked on sight. She didn't have any traditional gear on, and they didn't listen to what she was saying. She fled to the city of Markarth, where she would not be recognized as a Forsworn, and then gets wrapped up in the Forsworn conspiracy quest. She will do this quest, connect with the Forsworn leader Madanach, and gain some clarity regarding her people and their current state. The story she had been told didn't seem to add up, and the Reachmen were not what she thought. She liked Madanach, however, and helps him escape Cidhna Mine, getting the armor of the old gods in the process. The Forsworn character then runs from Markarth and heads to Falkreath. Looking to read as usual, she discovers the book Legend of Red Eagle. She reads about his legendary sword, and while investigating, decides to grant him his wish and return his sword. She does exactly this, and finds that she's attacked by his spirit, and with no other options, she has to fight him. After defeating him, she decides that he wouldn't be worthy of one day leading the Forsworn again. She travels to Riverwood, and after talking with the locals and having nothing more important to do, she begins on the main storyline of the game. After discovering she is Dragonborn, she starts to wonder whether maybe she is the one who will one day lead her people. Perhaps it was her destiny to bring glory to the Forsworn as opposed to the Red Eagle. She will now develop her ability as the Dovahkiin in hope that one day she will bring back Forsworn prosperity and make things how she was told they would be. So after doing the Cidhna Mine quest and the Red Eagle quest, your gear is going to be the full set of the armor of the old gods and also the sword Red Eagle's Bane. You're also going to have a Forsworn bow and arrows, and the skills for this build are archery, one-handed destruction, light armor, and sneak. Your spells will include all frost spells, but the main ones are Frost Cloak and Icy Spear. The armor of the old gods fits this build perfectly, as it is obviously light armor, but also more importantly because it has the following enchantments. The armor piece makes destruction spells cost 15% less to cast, the boots make sneaking 20% better, the gauntlets make bows do 20% more damage, and the helmet, or headpiece really, gives you 30 more points of magicka. These enchantments align with the skills that the Forsworn is using and therefore benefit the playstyle of the build. The Forsworn build plays very stealthily, and will use the sneak skill with the archery skill to take out targets from afar. You won't often be using your bow in open plain sight combat, however of course if it's appropriate because say you have low health and magicka, then you can of course use it. You will also sometimes use your sword for stealthy kills, particularly while indoors, and you'll never really use Destruction while sneaking. Destruction will be used entirely for frost magic and will be used when you are discovered. Your sword can be used in combination with your spells in open combat, so that's why I say the sword is only sometimes used for stealth. So basically you're either playing as a stealthy long range or short range assassin, a full on open combat destruction mage, or a bit of a battle mage. At the start of battle, if you've been spotted, dual cast Frostcloak and then switch out to either dual wielding Icy Spear or putting it in your left hand with Red Eagle's Bane in your right hand. Freeze and slash your enemies until no more remain, and of course be sure to take enemies out with your bow before entering areas in plain sight. Overall, this makes for an extremely versatile build who is proficient at many playstyles, tactical maneuvers and strategies. The stat spread for the Forsworn is a complete even split between magicka, stamina and health. This will achieve the perfect balance between having enough health to stay alive, having enough magicka to competently use your frost destruction magic, and having enough stamina to sneak, roll, sprint, and most importantly, zoom and slow time while using your bow. The standing stone of choice for the Forsworn is the Lordstone, and the 25% magic resistance from this will stack on top of the 25% magic resistance you have from being a Breton, giving you a total of 50% magic resistance. You're also going to have 50 extra points of armor rating from the Lordstone, which will stack on the armor rating you already have from your Forsworn armor. And that wraps up this week's Skyrim build, the Forsworn. Thanks for tuning in to Fudge Muppet, and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming Skyrim builds and our Fallout 4 builds. Do hit the like button if you enjoy these videos we make, and of course if you love the Forsworn. Check out our social media pages in the description, and you'll also find the perk link we created there so you can make the Forsworn build too. My name is Michael, this was the Forsworn, and I'll nerd out with you all again very soon. Goodbye.